So, a very good afternoon to everyone. On behalf of Apang Bal Vikas Sanstha and NSI Nagpur chapter, welcome you today on the eve of World Food Day celebration. To begin with today's session, I invite Dr. Pratima Shastri, President Apang Mahila Bal Vikas Sanstha, to present the welcome address. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Shakti ma'am. On behalf of Ashadi Apanga Mahila Bal Vikas Sanstha, Nutrition Society of India Nagpur chapter, and Association of Food Scientists and India Nagpur chapter, I welcome you all to this program to observe World Food Day. Special welcome to Dr. Lele. She is from the prestigious Institute of Chemical Technology, pioneering institute in food technology, and she'll be enlightening us with her knowledge and her wisdom, her practical wisdom. So welcome, ma'am. Now, we are here today to observe World Food Day. It is celebrated every year on 16th of October to commemorate the date of founding of Food and Agriculture Organization by United Nations in the year 1945. The objectives are furtherance of food security all over the world. That means the assurance that everybody gets the food everywhere in the world. The annual celebration helps to raise awareness about this fact, the awareness about the policies, international and national policies, to share with each other so that to develop a sustainable food security system. The system this is a step towards the Millennium Development Goal of United Nations, which were formed in 2015, and the second goal was zero hunger by the year 2030. So this theme is for year 2021, is safe food now for a healthy tomorrow. Now, considering a sustainable food security system, I suppose a sustainable food security system is expected to cover all operations from farm to fork, and it is also expected to comply with 4 criteria, like we say the 4-way test of the sustainability of food security system. The first is nutritional quality. That means not just giving enough food, but a balanced supply of macro and micronutrients. The second criteria is accessibility, affordability, and acceptability by the consumer. So these 3 things are different, although they all start with A. Accessibility is related to location, that means good transport system. Affordability is related to the economic status and the purchasing power, and acceptability is related to the cultural background, the geographical and cultural background. The third criteria is eco-friendly. That means low water and carbon footprint, less energy consumption for storage, transport, processing, etc., and less pollution generation. And the fourth and the most important criteria is the livelihood generation for local population through cultivation and processing. In order to satisfy these 4 criteria, what we have to think about is, in the wide perspective, high yielding varieties or high yield of food material from the limited resources. The population is increasing and the resources are limited, particularly the soil and the water resources, which are used for or which are required, which are basic necessity for food production. Second point is proper processing in order to avoid waste, because unless processed, more than 40% or 50% of the material would go waste. Even with the processing right now, they say that 30% of the produce goes waste. So protecting the waste is one way when we can increase the food supply. And the third is proper waste management, whereby the food, the waste that is created, that is either recirculated or it is, at least it doesn't cause much environmental pollution. So on these 4 criteria, I think when we think about grains as the food, they satisfy this criteria in a better way than any other type of food. food. As it is, the grains are mainstay of the diet in all parts of the world. Different, apart from wheat, rice, corn, and soybean, the major crops, there are several minor millets and legumes developed, cultivated in various parts of the world. Bajra, ragi, sawa, and these millets, and also several types of legumes, mainly the Bengal gram, green gram, but also kidney beans and rajma and other types. Several of them are there. They are made in different combinations and processed in different ways and consumed as they form a type of food culture in that particular area. Now, interestingly, it is observed that whatever traditional multigrain combinations are there, they usually try to bring out maximum benefit of the available resources, available ingredients for the better health. If you study them critically, we observe that generally they are like that. But of course, things are changing with the globalization. So, in view of this, the crop diversity in agriculture and promotion of multigrain diet habits, this can be considered as a sustainable strategy to provide the food for growing world population. Especially when we think of the protein gap, fulfilling the protein gap with animal proteins 2 or 3 times costly affair when compared to bridging the protein gap with proper combination of multigrains. Now, this fact has been realized globally, and year 2015-16 was declared as International Year of Pulses, because pulses are good source of protein and they have good supplementary value for cereals. Year 2018 was celebrated as National Year of Millets, and to encourage the cultivation and consumption of millets. And the proposal to observe 2023 as the International Year of Millet by FAO is also recently approved. So that shows how the world is getting awakened and getting aware of the importance of going to the millets and grain-based diet. So considering all this, we had planned an activity during the National Nutrition Month, and that was the objective of this competition was to revisit the traditional multigrain recipes and also to encourage the novel ideas in the multigrain concept. The booklet, which contains all these recipes, will be released today as a e-publication, e-book. But I would like to mention here that this recipe book is not a simple recipe book like any other recipe book. It is not showcasing the recipes, it is showcasing the concept of multigrain. So it is up to the readers and up to the whoever reads to use this concept and use her or his own creativity and create many more recipes and stay healthy, enjoy food and enjoy health as well.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of knowledge. And I think ma'am is a role model, because before this day of being multigrain celebrated world over, ma'am was already with the rolling wheel, multigrain should be promoted, and local, being vocal was the concept given by ma'am. So a round of applause to you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful program today. Moving ahead with today's session, I invite Dr. Rekha Sharma, ma'am, convener NSI Nagpur chapter, for her convener's remark on today's event. Dr. Rekha Sharma, ma'am, is professor at government. Ma'am, are you there?
Wait, please wait. I will tell.
Yeah, I thought ma'am.
Thank you, Shakti. Thank you, Shakti. Thank you so much.
Yeah, ma'am is professor at UGC Academic College, Rashtan Sukhdeo Maharaj, Nagpur University. And again, a very hardworking person and a motivator for me, for everyone, for us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Shakti, for your kind words. Yes, Honorable Chief Guest of today's World Food Day function, Dr. Smita Lele, Madam. A very warm welcome to one and all to Food Day program. Yes, we are fortunate here to share that today we are organizing this program, picking up the most neglected food of our plate, that is millet. and Shastri Madam has shared in the beginning only how these millets are important in our diet. And as she said, a competition was on recipes of millet made out of multigrain recipe. Again, it is a brainchild of Dr. Shastri Madam, and it was organized during National Nutrition Month. And then she has come out with a book for our recipes today, and that book will be launched today. Today, we shall also be announcing the winners of the program. I'm indeed indebted to Dr. Wali Madam for writing forward to the book and accepting our invitation to become president of function today. And thanks to judges for critically evaluating each recipe and ranking them, which was a very tough job. We are very fortunate to listen to one of the stalwarts of food technology, technologist, Lele Madam. Welcome, Madam, for today's function today. And I thank everyone for joining this program, and thank you all the participants for multi-grain competition for participating in the competition. Thank you once again. Over to you, Sakshi.
Thank you, ma'am. We now invite Dr. Bhotmange sir, President AFSTI Nagpur chapter, for introduction of the guest speaker of today. Dr. Bhotmange sir.
Thank you, Shakti ma'am.
Thank you.
It gives me immense pleasure to introduce one of the most popular personality in food science and technology of India, Dr. Mrs. Smita Lele. Professor Smita Lele has over 40 years of experience. She is graduate, postgraduate, doctorate from UDCT, Mumbai, and was first woman engineer to work in Hindustan Liver Research Center way back in 1977. Professor Lele has developed and transferred 22 technologies and has 3 patents to her credit. Just Tip and Just Ear brand drinking vegetables, retortable Indian traditional foods, and non-grape fruit wines. Professor Lele has successfully mentored 2 startups units in food processing. One is at Satara named Trilok Food, and another one is Savarde Valley Food Foundation at Chipudun, Ratnagiri. Products developed and marketed under Just Sip, Just Eat, Migmail, and routine brands are novel, healthy, tasty, and affordable. All the projects involve winning approaches, 4 win approaches, making farmers, processors, consumers, and the society happy. During COVID pandemic, Pune Municipal Corporation chose some of these products for giving to the patients due to its healthy, tasty, affordable nature. The sustainable technologies are developed keeping focus on food security, complete utilization of fresh produce, holistic approach. These products have a shelf life of minimum 6 months or more without addition of any chemicals or any kind of the preservative. If we talk about the major projects or major awards, Madam has number of awards to her credit called Vasvik. This Vasvik award was awarded to Madam in 2018. She has also bagged G Marathi Award, Unch Maja Jhoka, in 2016. The UDCT Distinguished Alumnus Award in the year 2015. Dr. Ben's Lifetime Achievement Award for Women Scientists, Association of Food Scientist Technologists. Post-retirement, Professor Lele has been an active member in Marathi Vinyan Parishad and part of standing committee. She is very much involved in popularizing the science. She has been conducting National Science Day programs for high school students for last 2 decades. made several educational films, and her free YouTube channel, Dr. Smita Lele. The traditional knowledge and Indian philosophy is another charter of her interest. I now invite Professor Lele for today's speech.
Thank you very much but there's something to be added. Just 1 month back, I was made, means that committee has already completed the task of one committee by Ayush, where they are going to put up something for the common people as a holistic recommendation, considering Siddha Yoga and then medicine and then nutrition and everything, and also to prevent COVID, during COVID and long COVID. So that was the job, and I was the chairman, and we have completed that document. Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan is the super chairman of this interdisciplinary. So first time in Ayush, they are also looking at modern science recommendation. Otherwise, it was only always for the alternate medicines and all that. So I think they have not yet published, but we have done our job. So
That's another feather in your cap.
that I could do something for the society. And without spending more time, I will start sharing my presentation, and then
Yes, you can share screen.
Start talking simultaneously. So at the outset, I'm very much thankful to Madam Shastri Madam. We are old friends from same disciplines. I think more than 25 years, we know each other very well. It could be 30 years also. And it is my pleasure. And one day I expect I'll come back again to Nagpur, which few years back I had come. But when things work well, I would like to definitely come to LIT and also to Madam's Trust again. Now this talk which I have designed, it is like a Thali Pitachi Bhajani. That is, it has a combination. For some of the experts, they will say, oh, these are like popular science lectures. But I'm expecting that there could be people from different disciplines also. And the message that I'm trying to give you is, together, since most of us are either nutritionists, scientists, food scientists, together we have to give a certain message to the society, because there are sometimes misleading ways people talk about chemistry in general, plastic in general, processed food in general. Like, I'm not saying that we should use plastic as much as we want and single use and non-food grade. I'm not saying like that. But that doesn't mean that we go back to caves and start using only glass and paper. Because if we do the calculations for production of gas, the kind of fuel we are using and the carbon dioxide we are using, it is no way better than making plastic. So somewhere we have to weigh it. And also sometimes there may not be a better options. So together, especially the younger generation, should try to get something like which is biodegradable. Like it is like in Marathi, we say, Bau Gudi, Agur Shingi, Bau Dugdi. So when you're going to buy a cow, you want to see that she doesn't eat 2 acres, horns, give lot of milk, doesn't eat lot of food, and she's a very nice animal and something like that. So we need technologies like that, and it's a permanent thing. Like there is nothing like I got the best material today and next 5,000 years, I don't have to look for an option. It is nothing like that. And when we study the history, we will see that has happened. And in fact, let me also share with you that Maharashtra government has published contribution of Maharashtra in last 60 years. Because Sanyukta Maharashtra was 60 years.
मॅडम तुम्ही स्वतःला अनम्यूट करून घ्या. मी आता म्यूट ऑल केलंय, तुम्ही अनम्यूट करून घ्या. येस. Yes.
Okay, so coming back, Maharashtra has completed 60 years at Sanyukta Maharashtra with Mumbai, and they have published a book. Granthali has published a book, and official publication will be on 30th October in the hands of Dr. Anil Kakodkar. It's a online program, Zoom or some other platform. I'll share with that. And what is important to see there, that when we read the chapter which I have written is about food processing, all of us who are in food, we feel proud that in the nation's food processing, whether it was like first dairy, which was RA, or first Indian biscuit factory, which was Parle. Everything has happened in Maharashtra because we got an advantage that we had the financial capital Mumbai as part of us, but everything was not in Mumbai. So my point is, it is time for all of us to collectively give the truths about everything, whether it is science, whether it is processing, and we should not be extremistic, because some very important points which Madam has touched upon, that is, if you want food security, the only option is you need processing of food. It's just not possible because we have got so much wastage going on. But at the same time, we don't want processed food which is preserved with the help of artificial chemicals. We don't want chemical preservation. And so these are the things. So these are some open thoughts. And just like in our food, we have staple food, we have vitamins, we have macronutrients. Perhaps in my talk, you will find something which is very general, common sense. You will say, what is there, what is new? But it is good to reiterate. There could be something little based on my research, which I'm going to touch upon. And then towards the end, there could be something which is a holistic approach, which is the need of the day. Like nutritionist also has to take into account the limitations and pluses and minuses of other discipline, and like that, everybody. So that I hope you would like my talk. And as mentioned by Dr. Bhutmange, I have a free YouTube channel, Dr. Smita Lele, and many of my talks, half of them are in Marathi. Some are advanced, some are for common people, but they are shared here. Even this talk I'll be sharing subsequently in this. And so please take benefit of this, especially to educate common people. I had shown where some of the brands which are already in the market. So some very simple slides, like when I say processing of food, many of us forget, especially activists who are anti-processed food, they're forgetting that cooking at home is also processing of food. So then there is a debate whether how much raw we should eat, or whether we should eat everything raw, or whether we should eat everything cooked, and whether we should keep cooking 3 times a day, 5 times a day. If we are eating 5 times or 3 times, are we supposed to cook 3 times? And are we supposed to grow each and everything in the backyard and do that? So this is a question. It's a wonderful thing. I can do it. But then who is going to teach and develop technology and give all these programs, because I'll be busy sowing my palak in the morning and making small quantity for me in the morning and another small quantity with dal. And then the challenge is whether to use dahi or whether to use dal, because I want that iron to be available. So then that there is no knowledge. So I will use my own discretion and put it in anything and cook it and believe that I'm going to get all the nutrition which the book had said. So what about the synergy? What about the Viruddha? What about the supporting combinations? And so that is why we should take a balanced approach. And so when we say cooking, roasting, frying, most of the time this was developed to get rid of anti-nutritional and anti-health phytates and things like that. But today sometimes all the things are looked upside down. No jokes. I'm telling you a true story. One of my students whom I have taught at BTech, who is doing PhD in ICT in USA, met me about 3 years back, and she told me that she's working on fruits and she found that fruit peels are so good. So I asked her little sarcastically that, do you mean, little girl, that I should buy pomegranate and eat the peels and feed the arils to the parrot or the sparrows? So she was embarrassed. She said, no, madam. What I mean is eat both the arils and the peels. I said, no, thank you. I don't want to eat that just because it has got antioxidant. Because do you think that everything has optimum? If that was the case, we would eat phenol. We would take the cashew apple and throw the cashew nut. We will take the cashew kernel and throw the nut. So it's not like that. It's not just the equation of mathematics. And also maybe in small quantities, yes, everything is good, but you have to keep that into inverted commas. And so originally why this was developed, it was developed to get rid of phytates and so-called bad antioxidants, but we want to retain the good antioxidants, which are like in colored fruit, via pigments. So what is the difference between a pigment made by man? Those are chemical pigments. And the pigments what I am talking of, jamun or carrot, they are natural pigments. So there is a totally different chemistry. So definitely nobody will say that add synthetic colors to make that food attractive. In fact, it is bad, no doubt about it. But still India has not banned it. US has banned it long back. Because there are many ifs and buts. I don't want to go into that. But as a scientist, we have to see that given a choice, synthetic food colors should not be added in anything. That's for sure. But colored fruits, which are naturally colored, are one of the best antioxidants, and we need that FICA funda, which I'm going to touch upon it. So each one of these topic, one can talk separately, like cooking, making rice, open pan, making rice in pressure cooker, making rice in microwave, and maybe rice cooker, and so on. And remember, Newton's first law is applicable to everybody's mind also. So whenever there is anything new, the first thing is there is resistance. So I remember one generation of my father-in-law's time, like 70, 80 years back, who said we will not eat rice made in pressure cooker. But I don't think there is any research reported. No, it is no joke. My father-in-law never ate it. And my mother-in-law was also a doctor. He was also a doctor, MBBS. And can you imagine an MBBS lady who is practicing, is trying to make an open pan rice because her husband feels he should not eat rice made it. So one has to look at it, what is the psychology and all. But I don't think there is any reported results statistically that people have been affected adversely by eating pressure cooker rice. Same thing could happen to even microwave rice. Now, of course, it is different because the time temperature is what really affects your digestibility. And one simple test I can tell you, make rice in pressure cooker and keep it in the fridge, make rice in microwave and keep it in the fridge, and you will see the difference. The microwave rice will throw out more water because it has not reached that center perhaps. But then as a modern scientist, I will say, good, it has made a resistive starch. So I've got lower glycemic index. So it's your viewpoint. I have no comments because scientist says 2 is 2. Now, whether 2 is good or bad, it's together you have to take a call. And all these numbers, what cholesterol was bad, what blood pressure was bad, all these numbers change every day. And off the record, we know it is not always the science, but it could be the commercial force which changes these numbers. So who gets bullied? Those who are not knowledgeable like us. So it is our job to tell them that don't get carried away. Keep your own discretion active and don't go to an extreme level of stopping eating cooked food or eating only raw food or not eating any raw food. Because when you're talking of raw food, is it a roadside or Jhopadpatti side grown mula in Mumbai? It is dangerous. You will have so many pathogens put in your stomach along with the raw food. So where is the benefit of eating raw salad there? So when you're talking of raw, you have to see in quality, quantity, and your age and lifestyle for whom you are telling this. Every shoe, everybody doesn't fit in the same shoe or shirt or whatever it is. Another myth, baked food has less oil. Who told you what was the first baked, most popular biscuit in the world, or at least in our country? Khari. Find out fat content of khari. You will stop eating it. You will say, I better eat Shankar Pari, which is fried, than eating khari, which is baked. These are all myths. You can do anything. You can make low-fat baked food, but doesn't mean every baked food is made using low fat. So see the level if you are packing it. So what's the benefit of processed food? You are taking a branded variety, you can read for yourself. And you are going for unbranded, so-called processed roadside or across the counter, then you are taking call of your health. I have nothing to say about it. So what are the pros and cons? Of course, everybody knows this, that you will have loss of some vitamins, but at the same time, better digestibility of protein, but everything is optimum. So if you overcook egg, the digestibility again decreases. That means the protein becomes less digestive. So again, you have to look at it. I'll be sharing this presentation if anybody wants. So I'm not going to read out this. These are just pros for me to, like, points for me to talk to you spontaneously. Then again, cooking of vegetable, method of cooking is very important, whether it should be covered or not, and time temperature, because that's the key. Long time is always more losses. Although dum biryani or some dum varieties may develop excellent flavor, no doubt about it. But generally, if you plot any simple water soluble vitamin, longer the temperature it is exposed to heat, longer will be losses, because these are typically mathematically first order exponential type of processes. It is called natural logarithm because 90% of the natural processes follow this mathematics. So it's not something a surprise. So keep it HTHT, high temperature, short time, which is that stir fry Chinese style. But it is like you should be able to chew it properly. If you don't have teeth, then you cannot eat such things. Children cannot eat. Very old age also you may have problem. Then again, many times cooked vegetables deliver more minerals. I'm going to see one or two examples later. Then one more point which I'll touch upon little details. Bioavailability and bioaccessibility generally improves by cooking. That means all processed foods are likely to have more bioavailability and more bioaccessibility, whether you are processing at home and consuming immediately, or whether it is processed commercially and you are consuming it after a few weeks, provided it has that science base, the packaging is correct, there is no migration, then it will be a better food than the unprocessed or raw food. So as I mentioned, it is time temperature. So one way of saving it is simple thermodynamics or physical chemistry. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. You have 1 atmospheric pressure, that is 15 psi G. G is gauge. That is, you pressurize the water by 1 more atmosphere, which is our normal pressure cooker, and water will boil at 121 degrees. And so obviously, I can cook for shorter time and still I will get the desired results. And the beauty of it, it's my favorite thing that shitya karaicha nahi cookercha, so that you don't waste nutrient, you save energy. And when you have shut down that pressure cooker gas also, it is not fully cooked. It will continue to cook. So it is like you're integrating that equation area under the curve. You're doing something at high temperature, which is also followed by that final cooking at a much lesser temperature, because 121 will become 110 and 100 and even 90 and little bit at 85, 80 also. It will happen. Like in olden days, people will say, ki waaf jirli paije. That's perfect. Perfect description, that is the steam should be on its own condense. That means that appropriate latent heat of steam is also used. So it is win, 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 win. You're saving time, you're saving fuel, and you are saving your energy. You're saving your loss of vitamins, and it's convenient. And that's why it has become so popular in our country. Many people abroad, Western places, they don't know pressure cooker because they don't consume tool every day, and they are not rice eater either. So they don't have pressure cooker. I remember in my generation, when our classmates went abroad, or even when my son went abroad, perhaps they had to carry pressure cooker. Now it's available, but they are not using it. That's the point. So time temperature is the key, and you have to work upon it. Glycemic index, all of you know about it, but remember, glycemic index can increase by cooking, but sometimes you can have few things where you can moderate it. So in general, for carrot, cooked carrot is having higher glycemic index, although it has a higher bioavailability of carotenoid. So for diabetic people, they say you should not take cooked carrot because quickly the glucose will be released. So that, but for normal people, it is better. But if you have any disease, you have to look it with that in eyes. Same thing for cereals, cooked, uncooked, half cooked, sprouted, unsprouted. Normally sprouted is always good. medium raw, but you have to go for minimum processing. Glycemic load, again, you are all nutritionists, so I better not show this because I am a peripheral nutritionist. I am not at all trained nutritionist. So please don't ask me questions. Well, simple steps. All of you know, I can just skip it. But roasting is one very important unit operation. And I want to refer to Mugacha Daiti Khichdi. Now, why in our country, for all patients, Moong Dal Khichdi is so popular? And what was mentioned in my introduction, that Pune Municipal Corporation had also chosen our retorted Moong Dal Khichdi. So after all Panchakarma, also in Ayurveda, they give Moong Dal or Moong Dal based whatever preparations. Why? So I think the only reason is Moong Dal does not have allergens. Moong protein doesn't have allergens. So we have to use this for Make in India products. This is for youngsters who are trying to develop. Why should we buy an expensive rice protein, which is made in Japan and given to children? Why? Because it doesn't have allergy. But where does rice has protein? It's only in that outer layer. But why not Moong protein? And of course, this idea we gave to somebody from ICT has already got some startup grant also to make vegetarian analogs of, lab meat, because non-veg have its own defects, like more risk of various diseases. So people abroad who are basically more non-vegetarian, like more frequently every day they are consuming meat and different types of meat, but they are scared. So if they can get an analog of vegetarian protein made in the laboratory, free from all other things like slaughtering people and also, then such products are also very good. So my question was about roasting. So as a child, I remember my mother or grandmother told me ki mugacha dalechi khichdi pachayla halki. And many people use roasting because they say that a person who has diabetic, he can eat rice made with roasted thing. So now we know that basmati has lower glycemic index, so basmati rice will be released or digested slowly. And so actually roasting, the conventionally we think it becomes easy to digest, but actually it is not like that. It's other way around. It digests slowly. So maybe it is good, because when you are sick also, sometimes you should not take large quantity together, because many times our stomach has become weak temporarily. So it could be something like that. And so for bhajani also, we have two things, like traditional wisdom. If we see now Diwali is coming close, so chakrichi bhajani is made using dals, rice with 3 dals, standard. If you take 2, 1/2 of, that's the standard, most popular thing. With that, like rice and then chana dal, udid dal, moong dal, that kind of thing. But for thalipitachi bhajani or kadboli, we take atradanya. That means whatever you have, put, but we put it with skin. And so that has got lot of fiber. So is it good or bad? Of course it is good, provided that much insoluble fiber you are able to handle. So I'm going to touch upon those points also, which perhaps will be very interesting for the nutritionists who are attending this, because they have not done chemical engineering and I've done that. So I'm going to touch upon that. So forget this. Frying is yet another thing, always the question. Again, this is not my area. Rekha Singhal, my colleague, has also worked. So quality of oil is one big issue. So when you are talking of processed food, and we are buying so much bhujia, we eat so much snacks in India, most of them are fried. And then if we are taking branded one, many times we see they are using palm oil, but then do you want them to use less good oil and it should become rancid and you should eat that rancid product or throw it? So that's a question. So here we have to have some kind of an antenna, that is whether we should go for branded thing, which normally they will use if they write vegetable oil, and if they don't mention, it will be always palm oil because it is shelf stable. And that much palm oil is not obviously good. So maybe you can make such things at home, or you can have some options where you have got even some small Mahila Bachat Gat and all. They make products where they have used, even Chitare, they have made groundnut. They write vegetable oil into bracket groundnut oil. So then that becomes safer. But basically, if we are having sedative lifestyle, we should not eat too much oil. because we should eat only that much oil which we are able to burn. So that's the bottom line. So let me come to a little bit of detailed science. So far, what I was talking was more like a popular lecture for those who are not like expert in food and nutrition. So 2 case studies I'm going to do, our own, maybe 2-3 years back only we have done this, bioaccessibility and bioavailability. So basic terms, what we are using, all of you know about it. But just for the sake of completion, I've said that what is called bioactivity. So if there is any specific activity, and now with nutraceutical coming up, this has become even a more important term. And then whatever molecule, if it is having a specific positive effect on my health, is it accessible? That is, when I eat it, will that be absorbed in my digestion? Is the bioaccessibility. And if it is absorbed and if it is going in my system, will that be in the bioavailable form? Like, just for a trivial example, I want iron, and simply can I add some iron filings in my food? Obviously, no. So physical chemistry, solubility is important, and the best example from pharmaceutical of day-to-day solubility is calcium. Different calcium preparations are available from 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, 20 rupee. What is the difference? The difference in their dispersion. Otherwise, I would have eaten chalk. Because I am 40 plus, 50 plus, I should have calcium every day. Take a piece of chalk. No. So solubility is the most important thing. So bioavailability will also depend on the format in which it is. That is it chelated with a metal at the center like a copper or a cobalt, and then that is available. Because if you see, even look at our body, look at hemoglobin and look at the role of iron. So it is a weak bonding, chelating with iron and 4 hemoglobins. So something like that. So then such compounds are bioavailable. My body likes it because it can take it. Otherwise, maybe it is absorbed, but still it can be thrown out through the urine. So it was dissolved. So first thing, if it is not dissolved only or not accessible, gone. GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So not available. So you have eaten, but it's not available. Second one, it is absorbed, but still it is not bioavailable. So you have to really ensure that. And then another point which I'm going to talk, which I mentioned, is then synergy. Because if I take 2 different things, it will again precipitate. So again, then it was there, but finally it was not available because I had a viruddha ahar or wrong eating, wrong combination. And this is very, very important when you are developing new products. NPD is an upcoming thing. And for all youngsters, please keep this in mind. Just for sake of it and to bully customer, I have seen people adding anything anywhere. Like, take for example, you are adding ashi and things like that in your bread. Now, are you supposed to have all these omega-6 and omega-3 particularly so strongly heated at 160 and 180? So what's the point adding it to that in a bread and roasting it and baking it for 30 minutes? It's not going to be available. So you have to eat it like a chutney. Little bit you have to fry, just little bit, because it has got cyanide. So it's chatka dilyasarka, and then make. Don't overdo it. So all this sometimes is backed by our traditional wisdom, and that is very, very important. So what are the factors which are affecting bioavailability? First thing is molecular structure, as I told you. Then the transport phenomena, I talked about that also, and the metabolism. So it's like bioaccessibility, bioavailability, and that those kind of things can be linked physically. So sometimes I always feel that many of our old customs, not everything, old is not always good, but old is not always discardable. So you have to take modern and old and combine in the today's thing. So I feel that Bal Gutti, because I remember when I became mother, my mother told me that you take this, that stone, that it's a hand, and we take kharik and badam, and we start like, just give 3 rounds to that child. Now you try to calculate mathematically, it will not be even micrograms, it will be nano. So perhaps now we can look at it that it is the nanotechnology and which will activate some of the glands, and you are not giving that almond in the quantitative way. Now, when you are talking of almond, now every other day that advertisement is coming. Hybrid almond grown in American thing, vis-a-vis to Mamri. Now, which has how much vitamin E? So this is very important. If you are taking it for vitamin E, then probably this hybrid almond, and see how they show They're eating it like a groundnut. Does anybody eat almond in that quantity? Then you will have some other problem. So we have to keep our antenna of common sense alive when we look at it. So this bar, booty and things like that, let's look at it again and establish it with the modern science to show how it is good. In fact, as it was mentioned, I am following some Sanskrit work for some scar and all that. And there was a doctor who came 2 weeks back, and he mentioned that in that Garbhadan Sanskar, they put 2 drops of Durva in that right nostril of the woman. Now you will say 2 drops in the nose, what is going to happen in that womb? It's stupid. He said it is not for the womb. It will only activate some pituitary gland. And this is not going to be an upay for somebody who is not getting children. For that, they have to do it regularly, linked with the monthly course and all. But this was symbolic, that is just cleansing. You know, that kind of thing. But it is not something imaginary. And he also mentioned to me that the shoots of banyan tree or people tree, not parambya, shoots, they have these properties of supporting reproduction of a woman. And I have discussed it with a student last week when we were having our Zoom. That is not his project, doesn't matter. But I said, look at it. And he said, madam, yes, because it will have growth hormones. And plant growth hormones are compatible with human being. We don't want growth hormones from some animal, because our computer system is not same now, our computer program. But these plants will have minimum of their identity, as we say, their computer signature. And it will be more of a just active chemicals. So it is worth looking at it. And this gentleman who had come, that doctor, he was mentioning that 50 years, after 50 years, he's scared that some of the doctors cannot practice because they will not get those jadi booties. So time has come, like Safed Mutsari and all, those are like staple foods. So those are staple medicines. Leave that. Now what I am talking is like vitamins or micronutrients. Look at these special medicines. And I'm sure that with modern science, we can make these preparation available. Maybe their potency could be 70%. It's okay. But better something than nothing, na? Because otherwise we are losing that knowledge and we are taking some multinational ka kuch ek chemical compound banaya lab mein, and you take it, and after few generations you come to know that animal human studies were never done for 7 generations. It's not possible, na? And so then you become guinea pig. We should not do that. We should look at our own work. Then types of milk, I am not expert on it, but I am just saying this is another area. Now that A type, A plus, all those stock is going on, ghee, gai, doodh and all that, and cow versus buffalo, pasteurized, UST. I am not expert, but they will have different behaviors. Simple thing, you try to make a dahi of UST milk. It doesn't happen. Tetra Pak milk ka dahi nahi banta. What does it mean? That means ability of any bacteria to grow in that has become zero. Whether it is good or bad, I am not saying anything. If you are taking it as a protein supply, no problem. But you are looking at it as probiotic, prebiotic and other things. And what happens to its calcium, I don't know. But these are the things we have to take it with a pinch of salt. Raw versus process. Some examples are here where bioavailability improves because of processing. So I can say that taking tomato ketchup, preservative free, is better than taking raw tomato, because lycopene bioavailability will be significantly increased, and also the chemistry, that is the isomerization, cis and all forms. This is not my work, but I have taken it from authentic source. So since our talk is on processed food, let me quickly see processing and bioavailability. So size reduction, milling, heating during that. Look at gehu, and when we make a atta in the chakki, kitna garam ho jata hai. Thermodynamics, because when you supply energy, all the energy cannot be transferred to that act. There is always a loss, and that loss will appear as heat and sound. And that's why chakki mein itna jor se awaaz aata hai, and that flour will become hot. So naturally, how hot it has become has something to do with the efficiency of the chakki and the size you are grinding, and that is also going to affect its bioavailability. Then juicing, So in our digestion, we are going to do all that. And macro encapsulation could be one modern way of protecting. So you separate whatever vital component, micro encapsulate and add in your product. Now this is possible only if you are processing the food, because it is backed by science, not with just raw thing. Drying is another thing. So this is again minerals. This I already mentioned. So from vitamins, vital, we are already talking of micronutrients. And there is something more also, which I will just touch upon towards the end. And so fruits and vegetables, major, this is minor is this. Again, this is from internet, not my specialty. All nutritionists know about it. But our products, we are doing FICA funda. So when you are doing that combination, you need to see. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, phytate, fiber, person's need, everything, all those things. It's like an elephant and 7 blinds looking at it and each one saying, yahi sahi hai. It's not. The wise man, become the wise man, put all the things together. That's what I mean by holistic. This I can skip here. And let me quickly show 2 case studies. This is the first paper which has appeared, if I think 2-3 years back only. I can't see that here. And it is a FST journal and physicochemical functioning, maybe 5 years back. Ash gourd, it's one of my favorite thing. Bottle gourd, my favorite thing. I have one PhD students completed, and we have blended it with jamun, because I was working on that jamun wine project also, and we found some synergetic things, and we have recommended certain things. Then another paper, it is relatively new, it is 2019, that could have been 4-5 years back. Here we have tried to do curcumin availability. Curcumin is a hot thing now. And I have not published one work, but I remember one of my master students did a small project, Rishabh, and we presented it in IIT Chicago about 5 years back. And what I was thinking is, we used to always take milk and turmeric at night, especially when you have throat infection. Now, because of corona, everybody knows that. But 10 years back, not every house knew this. So I thought that instead of cow's milk, whether buffalo's milk should be taken, because in India earlier it was always buffalo milk. And I thought buffalo has more fat in it. So perhaps curcumin availability will increase. But we were totally wrong. It was more available in cow's milk. And that's because curcumin binds with the protein. And so cow's milk had a suitable protein compared to buffalo milk. And so something can take up this project with different type of processed milk and see what happens, because curcumin is a hot thing because of its Alzheimer curing properties and all that. In Germany and all, lot of demand is there for Aldi, and if we can make an active component, this will be good. So my student was working on some seeds, kalonji and halyu. So these are not oil seeds, but that oil is removed for medical purpose. And the remaining thing, our group always works on holistic thing. Like I have purchased koala in the factory. I have paid for every part. I have paid for the skin. I have paid for the seed. So I must convert everything. Only then I can sustain. Processing can sustain small scale if you are using everything, because I have paid. Otherwise, the edible will become twice the cost if I have thrown half of it. So he was using halyu and garden cress. He removed the oil. Oil is medicated or medical oil, but or spice oil. And he's using remaining thing, and he has separated. This fellow Deepak has done a wonderful work. Almost 6 papers, everything in like carbohydrate, polymers and all. Very good journals. So he has separated protein, he has separated everything. He made edible film, he put silver nanoparticle and so many things. So this is also one paper he has done with Chanoba. And here he has done that protein hydrolase he has used as a curcumin delivery system. And he has got very good results. So these are all open domain technologies, but to make it into a viable thing, you have to keep in mind, if I'm using halyu, that halyu oil also have to sell at a good price. I have to make all these 2-3 products. I have to make maybe curcumin as a product with this, and also make some edible fields. So say no to plastic, and I have to couple all this so that I can get some money. I get people who come forward and give me money, and I make one more success story. So that is how it is done. So based on these 2 case studies, I would recommend that whenever you are trying to work on that initiative 2, 0 SED, 0 hunger, So for that, you have to keep in your mind in NPD, the bioavailability and all those things. Now in processed food, so many things are there. One can talk on each and everything. Irradiation by itself, one can talk so much. But simple thing you tell everybody that we use fire to make chapati. But is there fire in the chapati when we eat it? So please don't mix up irradiation with radioactivity of the food. It has nothing to do with the food. We eat chapati, but we are not eating fire with it. Take this example and make people, aware of their myths and misconceptions. And so many myths are there. Organic means natural is safe. Who told you that there is no poisonous thing made in nature? Try eating some of the alambi which are known to be poisonous. In 5 minutes, people can die. So nature can make poisonous things, and something which is made just without so-called man-made chemical doesn't always make it safe. It is like my जीरा infection हो गया, तो मैंने रोस्ट करके खाया, तो aflatoxin का क्या हुआ? People removed that fungus, but still they died na when they ate that jowar. So what about the changes made by that infection? You might have killed those small bugs. And so you are prepared as an Indian woman. I don't want to throw jeera na, expensive hai. So I am ready to roast it. उसमें कीड़ा हो गया तो रोस्ट करके उसका पाउडर करके खाऊंगी. But somebody has irradiated and made sure कि उसमें नहीं होने वाला है. वो मुझे नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि वो radioactive जीरा हो गया. This is the myth common people have. So we need to together remove that, keep open mind, and I've just written down few things. And please read it. And we have to go it. Nutraceutical, everybody knows. Now this, why I'm showing you, you don't know about it. Of course you know about it. But most of the time, nutritionists are only seeing the nutritional facts. But have you seen what is happening afterwards? Supposing you and me start eating the recommended protein per day. Are we used to digest that much protein? Are you sure that my kidneys will not be affected? So just because somebody is doing it somewhere for 7 generations in minus 20 degrees Celsius, I start doing it in an environment which is plus 40 degrees Celsius because I need food mainly to maintain my body temperature, which I don't need in Nagpur. So who told me that I need 1 gram protein per kg of my body every day? I may not be able to digest. So I have to look at my digestion, my microbiota, my lifestyle, and am I used to take it? If I take that much protein and don't eat for a whole day, then I start losing weight perhaps. And do I want to lose weight or I want to become stronger in my old age? So you have to define your hypothesis that what is that what you are looking. So our digestion system has all the unit operations, size reduction, then HCl in stomach, hydrolysis, then enzymes, pH correction. So this is partially back mixed. Then tubular plug flow, first in, first out, as far as the intestine and big colon are concerned. And then there is a membrane filter, and that is the kidney, which is removing. So if I take excess vitamins which are water soluble, no problem. But if they are water insoluble, I'm in problem because there is load on my kidney. So who is going to look at all these chemical engine points? Even chemical engine talks of 16 times. I'm not included here because it's not part of it. But since some dietitians could be here, do you know our body takes 9 months to be formed in mother's womb? Yes, everybody knows it. So to change my body's constitution, I will need 3 times 9 months. Do you know that? So if I change my weight in 4 weeks and I stop my diet, I will regain it in 1 week because my body will go back to its old steady state because it is bioreactor. It doesn't believe in what you believe. It believes in the forces of nature. So it will always go back to its old tendency. But if you to change the tendency, you have to do it slowly. And how to change microbiota? I got that culture from my mother. She got it from her mother. She got it from her mother. How do I suddenly get a Chinese culture in my intestine? Not possible. And so you should not 180 degrees or 360 degrees as they say. But since I love maths, I don't like 360 because then you will come at the same point. So don't take a 180 degrees turn and suddenly change your diet. So we have some products. So that Fica Funda. So 5 vegetables of 5 different colors to be eaten every day. Can I do it at home without using commercially processed food? No. but we have drinking vegetable. Similarly, multi-grains, madam has many products. So I'm just saying we have put different colors, and such products, safe, healthy, tasty products are there in market. Not just this, there are many others, but there could be unsafe products also. So you should have that wisdom. But you cannot say that just because it is processed, it is bad. In fact, it's a benefit that you can combine this. This was the technology transfer from 2014. And this boy, luckily, he crossed 1 crore turnover in last March because he got a big order from Pune municipality. And why they took it? Not just because it is safe, healthy, because they were wasting food. Sometimes the patients will be 100, sometimes they will be 50. And they were wasting food, which was ordered fresh. And sometimes they had shortage of food. And so all these things are there. These are some of the brands here. These are my last 2 slides. Third thing which you have to remember, I showed that not just the diet, you have to see the digestion system, understand chemical engine of the bioreactor. And what is the third thing? Appetite, hunger, satiety. They are different things and they are controlled by hormones. So I told you staple food, vitamins, micronutrients. What next? Next is hormones. We don't eat it from food, we generate it ourselves. And what affects it? Stress. Like for example, you take the reproduction, like conceiving capabilities of today's modern girl in Maharashtra. It has become so poor. Why? Stress, no other reason. Otherwise, having child is natural. Not having child is unnatural. If that was not the case, why the population should increase in the world? But when you have stress, it affects your production of hormones. And for falling sick, only 3 reasons: wrong eating, wrong breathing, wrong thinking. I'm not going to spend more time on it. My talks are there. This is my favorite belief, and I know. So how to increase happy hormones? So the last slide, okay, this I can skip because this is my guidance many times for the senior citizens, but all of you are knowledgeable. You don't need that. This is my favorite slide, which I've used now in 2-3 things, that happy hormones. So dopamine, serotonin effect, I have just named it. Look at the happiness of the students. And this is happiness of knowledge, which is because of dopamine. And I hope all of you have got this happiness on your face just now after listening to me. Some new ideas, at least one new idea you got. And I am very happy because my serotonin has definitely increased, because see the happiness on the teacher's face. It is because of the happiness of giving to the society, happiness of love. It's not happiness of love. So thank you very much. This is my last slide.
With the program, but this was exactly what we had discussed, and this was exactly what was in my mind.
Yes.
ह्या गोष्टी समोर यायला हव्यात म्हणून. I think we share a good rapport. Not I think, we really share a good rapport for quite some time. Okay, let us go ahead with the program, because please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful session. And I think it was an eye-opener that we nutritionists should have a strong insight while deciding what to use as a benchmark. I now invite the judges for the recipe competition. I hope Dr. Rita Bhargav has joined the session.
This is these are the prize-winning recipes that are declared by the judges. It is as per the declaration of the judges. The first prize is multigrain protein bars or laddus. This is low fat with dates as sweetener and binder, and by Dr. Amulet Murthy Akko. And this is the recipe. Of course, we are going to share the booklet, e-booklet. So that is just this. The second prize is sorghum pancakes, Jwaricha Dhirda by Dr. Rohini Kendre. And third, or the consolation prize is multigrain mutia, where the multigrain along with various vegetables are also there. So maybe it's a more complete diet with the grains and vegetables. So that is the third prize. And then there are 2 special prizes which were given. One is an innovative recipe. Innovative recipe is where some new concept is used, and this innovative recipe prize is given to energy balls or truffles, where a multigrain like small balls, यानी जिसको छोटा सा लड्डू कह सकते हैं, वो इस तरह से बनाया हुआ है, dry fruits and with jaggery and all, and along with that, that is coated with chocolate to make it more attractive and make it novel. So this recipe has got a innovative prize. And then there is another recipe and another prize which is specially we have designed. I mean, we thought about it, and that is the traditional recipe with a twist. See, we also all believe, and Dr. Lele has already said that many of the traditional recipes already have some conditions or some, I mean, considerations which make them healthy. So a traditional recipe, Gopal Kala, which is used in Maharashtra as a prasad. So one of our participants, Preeti Katakwar, has made that traditional Gopal Kala. Traditionally we use different grains and kakdi and this thing, kela, but she has used the sprouts into it and also various types of fruits. This is especially, we selected it as a special dish because it is uncooked, the fruits are raw, so all the micronutrients are retained. It has got curd, so it's a kind of probiotic also. So there you can look at the ingredients, that there is coconut, apart from the routine items like cucumber and all, it has got coconut, pomegranate, then moong matki and other things. So it's a twist. So we have given it a name as tradition with a twist. So these 5 special prizes are declared. So I congratulate all.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words of wisdom, and we always look up to listening and learning from Sabiha Wali, ma'am. And ma'am being always busy, I know ma'am always takes, I think, 2 to 3 sessions in a day. She always accepts the invitation and is there to guide us. So a warm and kindest regards to you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I now invite Dr. Sneha Kharadbajne, Head Department of Food Technology, LIC Nagpur, for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shakti ma'am. Good evening, one and all present here. I am Dr. Sneha Kharadbajne, Head of the Department of Food Technology. On behalf of Apang Mahila Bal Vikas Sanstha, Nutrition Society of India Nagpur chapter and AFSTI Nagpur chapter, I would like to propose the vote of thanks for today's function. To begin with, I would like to thanks to Dr. Smita Lele ma'am, Emeritus Professor Food Technology and former Director ICT Marathwada Campus, for accepting our invitation as a chief guest and in enlightening us on the topic processed food myths and facts. Ma'am, your talk is really a feast for all the food scientists, nutritionists, and the technocrats. It is your talk definitely gives us something different dimensions and different ways to think about the processed food. Since I'm personally a food technologist, I always try to think how to coin the nutrition and the processing together. So your talk definitely gives me an idea and some ways to move forward in this direction. Thank you very much, madam, for your invitation, for your talk and enlightening us. On the behalf of organization committee, I would like to thank Wali ma'am for presiding over the function and also accepting our invitation and to say a few words about the present nutrition, status of nutrition, and how the madam, Wali ma'am and Lele ma'am guide us for the processing and how the processing and nutrition can be a part of the healthy society. And for this purpose, I would like to thank the madam, as well as I like to thank Wali madam and Lele madam for releasing the ebook of multigrain recipe. Thank you, ma'am. In continuation to this, I would like to thank wholeheartedly for the judges, Dr. Rita Bhargav ma'am, a consultant dietitian, and Mr. Nitin Shinde, sir, chef, for critically evaluating all the recipes for multigrain recipe competition. And I like to thank all the participants and congratulate the winners for getting prizes and awards. I extend my thanks to Kalyani Computers, who have done excellent work for compiling the multigrain recipe book in a very short times, and they make available the book in the month of October for this program. Today's webinar is organized jointly by the three organizers, and all the three organizers has a senior faculty members, and so I personally like to thank Dr. Mrs. P.N. Shastri Madam, President Apanga Mahila Bal Vikas Sanstha, and her team, and Dr. Radha Ma'am, President NSI Nagpur Chapter, Dr. Rekha Ma'am, Dr. Vinita Mehta, Secretary NSI Nagpur Chapter, and Dr. M.G. Bhutmange Sir, the President AFSTI Nagpur Chapter, for jointly organizing this event and making it a successful one. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Dr. Shakti Sharma Ma'am, a co-convener Nagpur Chapter, NSI Nagpur Chapter, for smooth conduct of today's webinar. With this, I would like to thank all the participants, invited guests, attendees who has joined this webinar and make it successful. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your vote of thanks was absolutely perfect, not missing out any name. Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful vote of thanks. And over to Shastri ma'am to conclude the session so that we can end today's webinar.
Thank you, Shakti. Now, formally, the vote of thanks is over, and I suppose it's just a declaration that the function is concluded. Although there are so many things we would like to discuss, but it's almost 2 hours we have been here, and everybody, I mean, all the questions are so nice. I mean, so many questions would be there. But so we just stop here, we wait here. We give some time for incubation. Whatever we have learned today, whatever we have heard today, let us incubate in our mind. And then we can, of course, we can be in contact with Dr. Lele, and whatever wisdom she has shared with us. And as far as this multigrain part is concerned, as Dr. Wali said, that I have been thinking about this multigrain right from quite a long time, not just 8 or 10 years. Now, of course, we have started making multigrain attas and all that. But this multigrain concept has been in my mind right from when I was a lecturer. And the new, I mean, the computers and computerization and all this was very, very new. There was one student who was computer wizard. He had a knack of programming. So I had asked him to prepare different permutation combinations of different grains and optimize the amino acid content. And he was, that time he was really, I mean, we didn't know anything about programming. We didn't know anything. So from that time, it was shown that a proper combination of the grains is important to get the essential amino acid balance. So he had done that computerized calculations. Now, of course, we have got so many programs and Excel and all that. But right from that time, I'm interested in the proper combination.
Madam, so let me tell you here that 45 years back, even I have done it, but I've done it manually, where I tried to balance leucine, isoleucine, sorghum and soya bean.
Yeah, so that was done. All of us did our calculation manually.
Yeah.
that time we didn't believe in calculator. Let me tell you.
Exactly.
Dr. Lele said कि वो कुकर में पका हुआ खाना नहीं खाते हैं. So I always used to, हमको ऐसा लगता था कि अपन अलग गलती का बटन प्रेस कर देंगे, उससे तो अपना कैलकुलेट करना अच्छा है. Okay. So anyway, we are the old generation now.
So madam, I remember it was Sansar Chandra.
Yeah, yes,
who made
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
और आपने NIN के प्रोग्राम में AFST का जो कॉन्फ्रेंस हुआ था मैसूर, उसमें वो उन्होंने प्रेजेंट किया था. He took a floppy that time. First time हमने floppy देखा था.
वो floppy कंप्यूटर में डालना और वो सब करना और वो पूरा उसके
that was the first time we saw
2D graphs बनाना वगैरह वो सब था.
He was the first to operate this computer and store everything in floppy and yes.
तो तभी से एक ऑप्टिमम कॉम्बिनेशन जरूरी है, ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट था. तो very nice ideas and very nice discussion today. Although it was very long, but it was very, very informative. I think I was looking forward to getting Dr. Lele sometimes, and suddenly there was an opportunity and we are here together. And definitely whenever she is here physically in next few years, we'll definitely like to meet. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, all the organizers, for taking up the efforts to make the program a success. And should I conclude the function? Should I end it? Oh.